Alright, thanks for being here. My name is Alex and I'm with Group 5 for Entrepreneurship 200.
My name is Carl. I own a Reef aquarium maintenance company.
How did you start in the aquarium business?
Well, it started out when I came to America in 1992, about 6 months after coming here. I got hired to work at a pet shop, stayed there for 13 years, and eventually realized that I can do a little bit more than what my boss wants me to do, and started my own company.
What was the hardest thing about starting that business?
Starting from scratch, basically. You have no customers, and luckily when I left the pet shop I already had like 6 or 7 customers, which is nothing. So it's kind of a struggle for the first year or so to get the business going. Eventually started picking up more and more customers, advertising, and word of mouth, and now we're up to over 120 customers.
When you started, was there a big investment into your company personally?
Yeah, had to buy a vehicle, had to buy a lot of the equipment that was needed. Luckily the jobs that we were doing at first were smaller jobs, so I didn't need anything crazy. As the need was, coming along where I needed a bigger vehicle, I bought a big van and bought bigger equipment. Now we actually have probably $30,000 invested in machinery and lifting equipment and stuff to do almost construction work around what we do. And it ended up being a big investment, but that took 9 years.
So your company's 9 years old?
9 years old.
And you're looking to expand the company right now?
Yeah, just as customers come along, we take on the bigger jobs. We've kind of, at this point, have stopped taking on the small jobs, letting the guys that are just starting out now do what I did when I started, and we take on the big jobs now.
Do you have any competition in the Chicagoland area?
There's a couple dozen companies out there. A lot of them that don't operate the way they should, which is being insured and doing things the right way. They just kind of wing it. That's not what we're about. We actually go through the whole process of getting cities to come out to get inspections done, making sure that the electrical, the plumbing, everything is done up to code. Otherwise, if something happens down the road, insurance or no insurance, you can get in trouble.
What was your biggest inspiration when starting this new business?
Actually, I'd say my wife. I was quite comfortable working what I was working, and the money wasn't the greatest, but it was okay. And she said basically, you know what, you need to be challenged, and I say I agree. So I would say my wife is the one that actually made me do this. Not push me, but kind of gave me a little nudge.
And for college students that are coming out of university, what would you recommend for the ones that want to be entrepreneurs?
Just do what you love to do. My education is in computers. I'm an IT person, and I've always loved cars. I consider doing that, but my aquariums were always my passion. I've always had a fish tank in the house since I was a little boy, and not looking at the money, not looking at what I should do with my education. I just started something that I loved. And I feel that if you like something and you're good at something, you will succeed. There's nothing about it.
Excluding yours, what company or business do you most admire?
What company's business?
Yeah.
In general, I would say Tesla. I love what the guy did. The little guy, he's a little guy with a lot of money, but what GM and Ford and Honda and Toyota couldn't do, he did. Elon Musk. So I would say that's pretty amazing.
Can you describe your typical day on the job?
We usually work Monday through Saturday. Occasionally Sunday. That's just part of life, I guess. Average time, we get up about 5 in the morning and on the job by 6:30, 7 a.m. and usually come home about 6, 7 in the evening. So we're averaging about 75 to 85 hours a week.
Did you have to make any sacrifices to be successful?
Yeah, family life. It gets a little tough, so you have to take time off. As much as I love my job, the hours are a little crazy, and not being home when I need to be sometimes because there's an emergency or something needs to get taken care of that has to get taken care of. You don't spend as much time with your family as you would like.
I know for really big jobs, in houses and really heavy fish tanks, you use civil engineers, for example. How much of your business uses outside resources just like that, outside consultants, for example?
I'd say about 20–30%. We do actually use engineers quite often. Sometimes a fish tank might weigh 3–4 tons, and if you put in the middle of a room, might end up being a floor down or ended up in the basement, whereas engineer comes out, does the measurements, and tells me in writing, says this is okay or it's not okay. And there's been times where we had amazing jobs, potential amazing jobs, and we were told that they cannot be done this way.
What do you think is an example of a great project and an interesting one that you've done?
I would say probably the most challenging and the most fun for me actually was a job for University of Chicago, doing their study for jellyfish and octopus. It was 18 fish tanks, and meeting all these professors and students that were so excited about this whole project. It wasn't just a customer in a house that wanted a fish tank, it was actually something with a purpose, and they were basically studying these animals to find out if there's a way to protect us from box jellyfish, for example, in Australia, or a bite of a blue ring octopus, and I thought it was pretty cool.
How do you define success?
For me, being successful, for example, I would say is having a job that you wake up in the morning and you want to wake up and you want to get out of bed and you want to go do that job, and then also make a living doing it.
Hey, where did we go? Days when the rains came.